Because it's single shot, I want to try and get maybe 1 kill with it. I don't know.
Oh, it's even manual loaded too.
Oh my god. Yep. Killed. Well, that was 3 more kills than I was expecting to get, and there's even more at the end of the video as well. What's up, Nerfers, and welcome to my video on the Brontusk. This is more of a just for fun blaster, as you've just seen, designed to replicate the lever action single shot British rifle from the late 1800s. Now this is also designed to generally be a shell ejecting blaster as well. I haven't actually used them until this exact moment here, because there's also an insert piece which allows you to load darts directly into the barrel itself, which is what I used for all of the gameplay. With that piece in there, dart straight in the barrel. Beautiful. Now, before I get cracking on the overview and the testing of this blaster, got a couple of quick shout outs to give. Firstly, this was designed by MHP Arms and produced by Addy Crafts. And this unit right here was sent to me for free thanks to Phantom Toys, who are a reseller based here in Australia. So pop a bunch of links down below. You guys can check all those guys out. All right, so the first thing I'll touch on is the durability of the blaster. It's printed in nice thick plastic, so there's hardly any movement to it at all. There's also metal in key parts like the lever action itself that's going to be pulling back the spring. Overall, very sturdy blaster aside from a couple of key areas. For starters, the stock here has really small screws that are hard to do up tight without stripping them. So we do have a little bit of wobble on the stock there. Coming up to the front of the blaster as well, we've got a front iron sight held in there so loosely. It's a miracle I still have this thing after using it in the gameplay, because it does just slide straight off. A couple of times I had to grab it out of my bag because it's been sitting in the bottom of it. Same with this front sling point, that comes straight off as well. There's nothing holding it on there securely, so I can't physically do these tiny little screws up tight enough without stripping the bolts. Now, while we're up the front of the blaster, you can see this front sling point is also a bayonet mount, and looky what they sent me. This here is a fully 3D printed bayonet, complete with sheath. It looks absolutely incredible. But if we come to the front of the blaster, it actually clicks and locks in place onto that bayonet mount. I might have to step back a bit now so you can see it all in frame. But look at it with the bayonet on there, it looks so cool. Now if I take this one off, there's also another bayonet they sent me. So this one's your tri-blade bayonet, bit of a false myth that they're a war crumb to use. They're certainly not. For this one, I do have to take the front iron sight off sadly, which is why I don't like it quite as much. But essentially it slides over the top of the front iron sight and then locks in place. And if I take a step back with this as well, you can see what the blaster looks like with the tri-blade bayonet on there as well. But I do prefer it with the standard bayonet or with no bayonet at all. Now, if you follow that front sight back a little bit, you can see an integrated bearing rifling in the front of the barrel there. 4 sets of 3 bearings. I'm actually quite surprised that a replica has gone out of its way to have an accuracy mod like that, given spin to the darts as they leave the barrel. And then if you follow the 4 stock back and look up the top here, we do have an adjustable iron sight. By pinching the sides in and sliding it forwards, you can give it more holdover or reduce that holdover. This is what I actually use for all of the gameplay. I haven't used iron sights in a very long time. It was very intuitive to use. I think I had it set about halfway, giving me good shots out to about 20 meters or so. There was also a top Picatinny rail included, which I could have used. It simply screws on if you take these screws off, but I wanted the challenge challenge of using iron sights for the day. Coming to the receiver now. On this side, you've got MHP arms, people who designed the thing. And then you've got the name of the blaster, the Brontusk, on the right-hand side. Running the lever opens the breech portion in the top there, where you can either load a dart straight in, if you've got that additional piece put in there, or you can load your shells straight in that already have darts loaded in them. And you simply close the lever, aim, and fire. Now, as for the trigger, I'd say it does have a bit of a heavy pull to it compared to competitive blasters like the ZWQs, the Workers, the Sabres. It's not difficult to use, it's just not as hair trigger as those kind of blasters are. Coming to the rear of the blaster now, there is a fold open stock here with a Skittles compartment at the top. You can also quick swap your spring by giving this a turn. The whole spring retainer comes out, then you can access your spring. It's actually quite a small spring, allowing you to swap out to stronger ones, weaker ones, whatever you want to do. For a bit of added security as well, there is a pin that you can install through here, which will make sure that doesn't come out accidentally. I haven't bothered to have that in the entire gameplay or the testing today, just so that I could take that out and show people, and I haven't had any issues. But if there's something you're concerned about, chuck the pin in there, and it will prevent this accidentally, potentially shooting itself out the back of the blaster. I think that pretty much wraps up the overview of the Brontusk. There are a couple of other accessories you can get for it, such as a side shell holder. But aside from that, I think it's time to move on to the testing. Okay guys, for the chrono test today, just going to be using 1 gram worker bamboo darts, and of course I have to load them one at a time into this blaster, so I might skip out some of that loading process to save you the time watching it. Alright, we'll show you the first dart. Just going to push that in as far as I can past the front of it, and then close it up. Don't want it getting caught on that 3D printed plastic. 149. That's still lower than I expected considering how well it did in the gameplay. But let's see how it does. 157. 143. You definitely want to be pushing it in as far as you can with your finger into that adapter piece. I was getting lower FPS before I did that. 148. 158. 166, that's the highest one so far. 162. Had Paul just rock up in his ute, doing some field maintenance. 154, 155, and the last one, because that was an error, 147. Still lower than I was expecting after how well it did in the gameplay. But let's take it inside, get some averages for you.
Over the chrono, after a full day of gameplay use, it's averaging 153 feet per second with a high of 166 and a low of 143. A standard deviation of 7 isn't bad either, although something I did find is if I load the darts level with the breech, so don't push them in any further, I got much lower numbers over the chrono. So it's definitely worth taking the time and just pushing them a little bit further in with the end of your finger.
Where do you put the bullets in?
Well, lever action up. Oh, you got to put that piece back in now.
Oh, okay. So you just load in like that, do you?
Yeah.
How many FPS?
Yeah, 160, 170.
Hit the drum. Oh, not too bad.
It's a little fun one.
Henry. Yeah. Shoot a Henry.
What?
Shoot a Henry.
What?
Shoot it. Aim for the
Shoot it?
drum. Aim for the drum.
Whoa.
Okay guys, so now we're going to evaluate its accuracy against this 1 meter diameter round target, shooting from 30 meters or 100 feet away. I am of course using the iron sights, and given the low velocity I do have to aim halfway up the tree, but I've picked a nice little bit of bark that I'm going to aim at about 1 meter above the target, so it shouldn't give me too much of a hassle, even though I do have the sight maxed out for its elevation. I'm going to be using Sabre heavy darts for this test. They are a bit more accurate than the worker ones, and as I discovered in the chrono test, you do want to push them a little bit past the plastic lips there. Alright, let's see how it does. That's a hit. Let's keep aiming there. That's another hit. Don't know whether this will be an evaluation of the blaster or my ability to aim 3D printed iron sights. That's another hit from 30 meters away with a 150 FPS blaster using iron sights. That one was a little bit lower on the target there. But from what I've seen so far, no wonder it did well in the gameplay. It's actually quite an accurate blaster with the integrated rifling. That's another hit. Keeping in mind that how you actually load the darts into affects the FPS. That just hit the bottom of the target. I also haven't been counting how many of these I've been firing. That was the brick just below. That's a hit. This thing probably has no business to actually be accuracy testing it, because it is more of a fun blaster. But it is reasonably accurate. I think I might make this one the last shot. Beautiful. I think that hit pretty damn close to the bullseye as well. All right, accuracy testing done. Let's head back inside.
From a distance of 30 meters or 100 feet away, Brontusk shot a grouping 70 centimeters high and 40 centimeters wide, or in freedom units, that's 2.3 by 1.3 feet. That is not bad at all for a 160 feet per second cosplay, LARP, backyard plinking style of blaster. But after using it in some actual gameplay, what do I think of the Brontusk? Well, it's definitely not the kind of blaster I would usually use out on the field. Single shot with quite a process to reload it is highly impractical. Yet, I managed to get some pretty impressive kills with it just for fun. The build quality is pretty good. I didn't like the stock wobble, nor how loose the front iron sight is. Again, I'm surprised I didn't lose it out on the field. There's also a lot of tiny screws used, which my Allen keys were going to strip if I tried to tighten them any tighter. Those things aside, this is a replica that's also hitting 150 feet per second average with some decent rifling stabilized accuracy. I think if you're a collector or someone who doesn't take foam blaster sports too seriously, this is a great historical rifle to get your hands on. Find it at Phantom Toys down below, as well as a few other links I'll include as well. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.